Hello, this is Megan Abraham. I just want to make sure that you can hear me. So if I do, it's time to confirm that. Thank you for joining the Goldie Initiative webinar regarding our program and application. We're thrilled to have you. I'm just waiting for Kelsey to come back and know that we're good on technology. And then we will get started with the program. Just hang with me for one moment. I should talk, but not be Okay. We should have a texting feature, so if maybe text me if you can't hear me. You should be able to see the chat group. Yeah. There's a Zoom chat group. Text here. If you hear me. Okay. I'm going to get started with the webinar, and hopefully we'll have some additional people join in. I would say if you're going to ask questions, the best way to do so is to use the chat function. If you have any trouble with that, we can at the end unmute everyone and type in if you have any trouble. You're saying the speaker on your phone is a little difficult to hear. Okay, I'm going to turn that up. Thank you for that feedback. I'm going to turn up the volume so you can hear me better. Bear with me while I do that. Okay, is that a little better? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. That's great feedback. Don't you love technology? Okay, I'm going to start the slideshow. So thank you for joining us on the Goldie Initiative Scholarship Application webinar. Again, if we continue to have technical difficulties, just keep us posted with the chat. I believe we've muted all of our participants, but just in case, mute your phone or whatever you're using to access the webinar so we don't have any background. As I mentioned, use the chat functionality to do questions, but if we have any trouble at the end, we'll just open it up to make sure that all questions are addressed. So we'll start with some introductions. Many of you on the line may have already connected with myself or my colleague, Kelsey Cleland. There's a photo of us on the screen. We're so appreciative of your participation today, and we hope that this webinar will be a good use of your time. We will probably take this for about 30 to 35 minutes, so we should be out of here by 12:45 at the latest, maybe even much sooner than that. So my name is Megan Abraham, and I've served as the Executive Director of the Goldie Initiative since 2016. My background is in the real estate industry as well as in social entrepreneurship. I worked for many years with the Realtors Association and was also a nonprofit startup founder. I received my master's in public service management from DePaul University in 2006, and I have an undergrad from U of I. I'm responsible for overall management of the Goldie Initiative, including all operations, board of directors and governance, and fundraising. Kelsey here is on the right with the long blonde hair. She's a University of Wisconsin graduate, and before she started with the Goldie Initiative at the end of 2017, she worked in advertising. She is responsible for the Goldie Scholars Program and is a direct point of contact with all of our scholars. And she also manages social media, works with our alumni, and is just an amazing partner in all of this with me. Please feel free to reach out to either of us at any time. We work very closely together. So here's the agenda for the call. As I mentioned, it should go about 30 minutes. We'll start with a bit of an organizational overview. Then we'll get into the specifics of applying for the program, so you can have the opportunity to get some insight into some of the items that you should pay specific attention to in the application process. Don't forget, use the chat feature if you have questions. The Goldie Initiative is focused on providing the commercial real estate industry with future leaders. Here's our mission statement. Our platform for supporting graduate students helps ensure that the scholarships and leadership development opportunities being offered are reaching a group of women who are committed to remaining active in the commercial real estate field. So what that means is that we're looking for leaders. We're looking for people who are going to raise their hand and say, I want to change the leadership model in this industry. It's quite male dominated, and I want to change that, and I'm doing graduate school and pursuing this career path because this is an opportunity and it is my time as a leader. Here's a little bit of the history of our founder, Goldie Miller. Some of you may have met her before. This is a snapshot of her professional background. She and her husband, Jack Miller, are very involved in the philanthropic community in Chicago and nationally. In 2007, Goldie established the Goldie B. Wolf Miller Women Leaders in Real Estate Initiative at Roosevelt University exclusively. After years of supporting female graduate students at Roosevelt, the word started to spread about our program to other grad students at other universities. So the decision was made in 2015 to break from Roosevelt and establish the Goldie Initiative as its own nonprofit charity organization. That way we could continue to support students at Roosevelt, but we could also make the program available to students at other schools. Since founding the program over a decade ago, Goldie is still very much engaged in the strategic activities of the Goldie Initiative. In addition to serving as board chair, Goldie participates in many of our programming and fundraising activities, and she even runs a portion of our leadership program by conducting weekly phone calls with Goldie scholars through our Wednesdays with Goldie program. So you will be seeing a lot of Goldie should you become a Goldie scholar. This slide represents the universities where we're currently operating the Goldie Initiative. Our current scholar cohort includes both full-time and part-time students, and we're looking to grow this list. Although we have a Chicago-based program, our reach is global. Our Goldie scholars come from all over the world and have gained employment internationally. In addition to the USA, we have students who come from Brazil, Korea, China, Russia, Pakistan, and Iran. As I mentioned, we're looking to grow this list of schools within the Midwest and possibly beyond. We are actively working to set up programs at additional schools in the area and add schools, add law schools, add business schools, and maintain levels where we're currently supporting students. Okay, so now we'll get into the program components. What does it mean to be a Goldie scholar? Well, first of all, it means you get a scholarship of up to $10,000 in scholarship funds over a 2-year period. Scholarship agreements are signed with each scholar who are required to participate in networking activities, our mentor program, and leadership development program. We'll get into more specifics of that later. Each Goldie scholar is assigned a senior executive mentor. Most of those people are women. For the first time this year, we have one male mentor. Our mentor program has been one of the most impactful aspects of our program, and we're currently working on additional ways to make it even better. We've instituted this school year a new program called Mentorship Rocket, which is a booking system for Goldie scholars to connect with even more mentors on a one-off, one-on-one basis throughout the time they're Goldie Scholars. We'll explain more of that to you at the interview and should you become a Goldie Scholar. We require our Goldie Scholars to participate in networking events because it's very important to success in commercial real estate. It's all about who you know. We have a couple of pre-event meetups throughout the year to go to non-Goldie Initiative events as a group, and even our own gala involves a pre-event meetup. Our leadership development program has in the past taken a consensus building approach where scholars are asked what topics they want their programming to focus on for the year. In an effort to provide Goldie Scholars with skills missing from either on-the-job or academic experiences, this approach has been helpful. And there's also some common themes that are woven throughout the programming for the year based on our experience running the Goldie Initiative. The Leadership Development Series programming is also super focused on building the cohort of Goldie Scholars who are all participating in various programs at many different schools. As far as the final item, job opportunities, I can tell you that our efforts so far have been informal. We have gotten our Goldie Scholars jobs. We've been helpful with the networking and the connection with the employers. However, there hasn't been a formal structure to our job placement program, just due to the fact that all of our scholars are at so many different places in their career when they seek to pursue the graduate degree. We will help you, and we're learning ways to improve our job placement activities every year. Here's some information on our program eligibility. Scholars are eligible to receive scholarship funds for up to 2 years with a maximum scholarship of $5,000 annually for a total of $10,000. This program is not needs-based, and participation for 1 year is allowed. So you can participate for 1 year and receive a maximum of $5,000 and all the other benefits. The scholarship program is available to women only, and the women must be attending a graduate program. Due to the importance of networking and cohort building, plus the physical location of our cadre of mentors and activities, access to Chicago is required on a regular basis. The requirement of 3 years experience in commercial real estate trips up some of our applicants. I would say that this requirement is looked at. However, our selection committee is mostly concerned with the future plans of Goldie Scholars and their commitment to becoming leaders in the commercial real estate industry. So please don't get tripped up by that requirement. It's a recommended experience level. We also include a few renewing scholars who participate in our program but no longer receive scholarship funds. That is when someone takes longer than 2 years after they've been admitted to the program to finish up their degree, which can happen sometimes when you're doing part-time school. Here is a description of a typical Goldie Scholar, although none of them are the same. So it's really an atypical description. The Scholar Selection Committee is comprised of board members from the Goldie Initiative. They review each application carefully and interview a large number of eligible candidates. This slide gives you some idea of the criteria the selection committee will be looking for. We're looking for candidates that complete the full package, individuals who will bring value to the Goldie Scholar cohort and ultimately to the industry. We understand that this kind of charisma can't be conveyed through transcripts or even letters of recommendation. So when you get to the essay portion of the scholarship application, please be sure to address any item that may reflect that charisma or any deficiency in the scholarship requirements that may be evident. If it's a lack of 3 years of experience, for example, demonstrate through your essays how an internship may compensate or how your involvement in a volunteer organization helps fill the void. Don't leave anything up for interpretation. Use the essay section to explain anything that you think the selection committee needs to know. And please feel free to ask questions about that. Once scholars are accepted as a Goldie Scholar, this slide outlines participation requirements. I should mention that for students who graduate mid-academic year, sometimes with a lot of these part-time programs, you graduate in March, April, something like that. You have a quarter left, that kind of thing. We ask that even if you finished up your classes in April, that you complete the requirements for the full Goldie Scholar experience. So, even though you're finished up, you're done, there may be additional events that you would be required to come to as far as the Goldie Initiative package. For example, we have one Kellogg student, a Northwestern student who's had finished up in March. She graduated in March, but she continued to participate in the programming and activities and will be celebrated as a graduate at our school year-ending Goldie Scholar Luncheon, which will take place next week. This slide outlines what to expect when you click through to our scholarship application via the web address listed on top of the screen. The most important thing to know about the scholarship application is that there is no way to save your progress. You will need to complete the entire application in one sitting. I recommend that you look at the application first and then work on your essays in Word or whatever software you're using for word processing. Then you will have the opportunity to upload those documents, those essay documents, when you complete the application. You are not required to attach transcripts or letters of recommendation at the time of the completion of the online scholarship application form. Those can be mailed later or emailed, email, post to mail, whatever works, but everything needs to get to us by June 15th. I'll click through a screenshot of what the scholarship application looks like next. And I should mention that if there's any hold up, if one transcript is going to be ready June 20th, you just keep us posted, communicate with us, and we can be flexible with advance notice. Just don't surprise us with anything after the scholarship application period has concluded. Here's a screenshot of what you'll see when you click on the scholarship application. Don't forget that you need to complete this in one sitting, this entire page. And it really just clicks through, basic information on you, asks you to sign some releases. You'll have the opportunity to upload your essays, etc. Shouldn't take, I would say, maybe more than 30 minutes to complete if you've worked on your essay in advance. Essays, there's 2 of them. Application timeline. The key thing to know is that the application is due by June 15th, and that is a Saturday. So we're going to look at them Monday following. So as long as everything's in there by, 8 a.m. on the 17th of June, you should be fine. But June 15th is the application deadline. As I mentioned, we need to get all of our transcripts and letters of recommendation by then as well. Just contact us if you have any issues with that. Sometime in July, you'll be notified about whether or not the selection committee will bring you in for an interview. Interviews will be taking place this year at the beginning of August and are conducted in person in downtown Chicago. If you anticipate that you won't be in town during that first week of August, please let us know. We've done many interviews via video conference, Zoom, Skype, or on a different day in the past because we realize people have internships, people travel, we can be flexible when the interviews are done. We will announce the scholarship recipients no later than August 15th, at which time scholarship grant agreements are distributed. We will have an optional but highly recommended kickoff event sometime after August 15th. It's usually a happy hour with participation by potential mentors as well as alumni. During the interview, you will be asked about your experience and future goals, as well as the type of mentor you might wish to be assigned to. The interviews last about 20 minutes, and there are up to 6 committee members, including me, present. We would ask that you please dress in business attire for the interview, and Kelsey will be there to calm your nerves. That concludes the formal presentation. At this time, I would invite you to send in any questions by chat. And if you're having any technical difficulties, feel free to call or email me. And we'll also open up the unmuting at the end here. I see I have a question in here. I'll get to that in a sec. If you need to drop off, that's okay too. I would just like to, before I get to the questions, thank anyone who has participated in the call. We hope you learned something about the Goldie Initiative. There's more at our website. And then just a quick plug for our Goldie Gala, which will take place September 12th at Wintrust Grand Banking Hall. There's special student rates of $40, so it's a great deal and a wonderful event. If for some reason you're not going to apply or don't get accepted, we would still encourage you to attend the Goldie Gala. You visit our website, goldieinitiative.org/gala for tickets. Thank you. So now I'm going to look at the questions. I have one question. Do the letters of reference need to be blind, or can they be uploaded in the application? So Kelsey, is it possible to upload the letters of recognition on the application form? Yes. So you can either have the application sent in blind. The letters of recommendation sent in blind. You can send them in separately from the application yourself, or you may upload them directly when you're completing the application. They don't need to be anonymous, confidential, in that you've never seen them. You can see them and look at them before they get uploaded.
I would say it's up to the preference of the person writing
Yeah,
it.
up to the preference of the writer of the letter of reference. Whatever they prefer, we can accommodate. Does that answer your question? Okay, another question. Regarding the GPA requirement, what if your school does not give grades in that manner? Interesting question. We have not come across that before. I'm assuming you're talking about like a school like Brown, like it's maybe a pass-fail kind of situation. Kellogg EMBA program. Got it. Okay. I would say that the GPA requirement just needs to show us that you are doing well in your program, that you're continuing to take classes. And I think that, you know, in the case of something like a Kellogg EMBA where the courses are graded in a different manner, that we would just touch base with each scholar and talk about a little bit about how we might track progress in an individual way. We just want to keep posted that you're actually taking courses and that you're doing well. I hope that answers your question. I'm going to unmute all. If anyone's been having trouble with the chat, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. Okay, I think we're good. Are there any other questions? Great. You are very welcome for the information. I am so happy to have had you as a participant. This session has been recorded and will be posted momentarily at our website. And look at this, we're 12:27, so we did finish a couple of minutes early. I thank you all for your participation, and I'm going to log out now unless there are any other questions. Okay, thanks so much. And we will see you hopefully in our application queue. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.